Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Breaking overnight, escalating tensions. President Trump says he ordered a military strike on Iran, but reversed his decision in the last 10 minutes. What this means as the U.S. and Iran move closer to military conflict.
It's a new ID that will be required if you're taking a flight or entering a federal building. And now it may be required if you want to get your hands on a gun or ammunition. The new change that could come for gun owners in California.
And the stands are up, but you aren't supposed to be lighting those fireworks just yet. And with at least one death so far this year locally when a man was using illegal fireworks, we have some things to know before you do.
And good morning. Great to have you with us. It's 6:31. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher and Kevin Schrett on this very first day of summer.
Yeah,
and finally Friday.
Finally Friday, and it is a beautiful day out there.
It is. Great sunrise for you, cooler temperatures, good air quality, so it's going to be a Friday to get out and enjoy. And the weekend isn't looking too bad either. And we're going to get to that throughout the morning. 66 right now on the temperature. North wind at 6. We haven't seen much change since we started at 5 a.m. And you can see these temperatures will rise into the upper 80s. Some lower 90s as well throughout the afternoon for Fort Worth Valley. Tehachapi, you're at 54 right now. Still a little bit of a breeze out of the northwest at 13. That'll be around through this evening. In fact, there's a wind advisory for you through 9 o'clock. And we take a look at the temperatures. Again, starting out in the 60s, will rise into the 70s this afternoon.
Thanks, Vaughn. A dramatic escalation in tensions with Iran as the U.S. and Iran move closer to military conflict after Iran shot down an American drone. This morning, the head of the Revolutionary Guard's Aerospace Division says Iran had warned a U.S. military surveillance drone several times before launching a missile at it.
The New York Times this morning is also citing multiple sources saying President Trump ordered a military strike but reversed his decision. Meanwhile, German Chancellor Angela Merkel is welcoming that report, and Craig Boswell is tracking it all from Washington with the latest. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, Alex and Maddie. Hours after President Trump said Iran made a big mistake shooting down a U.S. drone, the New York Times reports of plans to retaliate. Pentagon video shows the smoke trail from an American drone shot down by Iran.
They made a very big mistake.
President Trump on a response.
You'll find out. You'll find out.
According to the New York Times, late Thursday, the president approved military strikes with multiple senior officials involved in or briefed on the deliberations, but the president abruptly pulled back. The Times reports planes were in the air and ships were in position, but no missile had been fired when word came to stand down.
It may have been a rogue action by the Republican guards, and he ordered a strike, and then somebody, I'll bet it was the JCS, got to him and told him you'd better back off, which fortunately I think he did.
White House and Pentagon officials declined comment, and no one asked the article be withheld. The U.S. says the drone was shot down over international waters. Iran says it was in their airspace. Thursday's military operation in motion after bipartisan White House meetings.
The president may not intend to go to war here, but we're worried that he and the administration may bumble into a war.
We're not going to let them disrupt navigation of the seas, attack our allies and U.S. interests without paying a price.
The president appeared to defuse the situation Thursday.
I find it hard to believe it was intentional.
According to the Times, the attacks on Iranian targets included radar and missile batteries. The U.S. accused Iran of attacking oil tankers last week. Iran denies any involvement. In Washington, I'm Craig Boswell, 17 News.
And Iran's foreign minister is speaking out about the incident. Earlier this morning, he tweeted, Iran has retrieved sections of the downed U.S. military drone, quote, in their territorial waters where it was shot down, taking issue with the U.S. version of where the attack occurred.
Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy made his stance on Iran clear during his weekly news conference. McCarthy praised the moves the president has made. He said he stands with the action President Trump has taken and applauds him for moving aircraft carriers.
Iran has a long history of a terrorist play, and that is unacceptable for the world, and the world is not safe when Iran continues to have that behavior, and it's unacceptable to shoot down an American plane in international waters.
Some air carriers are taking action as tensions in the Persian Gulf continue to rise. Australian airline Qantas has announced it is adjusting its flight paths over the Middle East to avoid the Strait of Hormuz and Gulf of Oman until further notice. Multiple airlines, including United Airlines, Dutch carrier KLM, United Emirates, British Airways, Singapore Airlines, Malaysia Airlines, and Germany's Lufthansa also announced changes to its flights over the region. And like we mentioned, United Airlines has also announced it has suspended at least one flight to avoid flying over the Gulf of Oman. The FAA has also put restrictions on U.S. airlines flying over the Gulf. President Trump is very active on Twitter this morning. He posted a series of tweets that read in part, quote, "We were cocked and loaded to retaliate last night on 3 different sites. When I asked, how many will die? 150 people, sir," was the answer from a general. 10 minutes before the strike, I stopped it.
Another tweet reads in part, quote, "I am in no hurry. Our military is rebuilt, new and ready to go, by far the best in the world. Sanctions are biting and more added last night. Iran can never have nuclear weapons, not against the USA and not against the world."
It is 6:37 now, and you've probably heard plenty by now about California's new Real ID that's going to be required to fly if you don't have a passport. But you may also need it to get your hands on a gun or ammunition. Kristen Mitchell reports from our affiliate in Fresno.
This 5-page emergency draft proposal filed by the state's Department of Justice Tuesday takes aim at the forms of ID required to buy a firearm or ammunition in California. If adopted, starting July 1st, a California Real ID is required to purchase a firearm or ammunition, or buyers must provide another acceptable form of ID like a passport or birth certificate.
Not everybody has a passport, not everybody has their birth certificate, so it's just an additional layer of difficulty for people to get what they want.
The Real ID is not required, but the firing line owner Jacob Belemjian says this new regulation is just another way to get people to buy the Real ID.
It's just one more roadblock that they can put up, one more way of infringing on people's rights.
He's gearing up for another change starting July 1st, background checks for ammunition purchases.
It's staggering the amounts of ammunition that are being purchased.
The National Rifle Association is speaking out against the possible regulation, asking for gun owners and those who do not support the regulation to submit public comments.
It's 6:38 now. Today is the official start of summer, and that means the 4th of July is right around the corner. The Bakersfield Fire Department, meantime, is sharing some tips to keep you and your family safe while using fireworks this Independence Day. The department says you should always have an adult supervise children. Read directions. Keep a water source nearby. Use common sense and only ignite legal, safe, and sane sealed fireworks outside, away from people, homes, and dry grass. BFD also says never alter or reignite a damaged firework. Throw fireworks at someone or an animal, and never carry fireworks in your pockets. Fireworks can only be purchased within Bakersfield limits from July 1st through July 4th.
And while the fireworks will be fun for the little ones, the furry members of your family may not be in the mood for celebrating. Every year, animal shelters nationwide see a spike in animals brought in or after the 4th of July. Kern County Animal Services wants to help reunite pets and families with its 4 Days for Freedom program. Through July 3rd, county residents can microchip their cat or dog for free at the shelter. Meanwhile, Bakersfield residents can take advantage of the same deal at Bakersfield Animal Care Center's Microchip Mania event on Saturday. We've posted details of these programs on our website, KGET.com. Welcome back. Here's a live look at Wall Street on this Friday morning. The Dow Jones down 2 points, S&P 500 down 4, NASDAQ down 28.
Recapping our top stories on this Friday morning. A dramatic escalation in tensions with Iran overnight as the U.S. and Iran moved closer to military conflict after Iran shot down an American drone. President Trump tweeting this morning he was, quote, cocked and loaded to retaliate last night, but stopped the strike 10 minutes before it was supposed to happen when he was told 150 people would die. We're continuing to track this story, and we'll have the latest for you on 17 News at noon.
A priest accused of sexual abuse by a Bakersfield woman is now on leave. The Diocese of Fresno confirms that it has placed Monsignor John Esquivel on leave. Sylvia Gomez claims the abuse happened at St. Joseph Catholic Church in the mid-1980s when she was 17 or 18 years old. Esquivel most recently served as a priest at the St. Anthony Padua Catholic Church in Reedley. The diocese says 2 people have reported abuse to the Bakersfield Police Department, which is investigating these claims.
An update on that breaking news we brought you earlier this morning of the car lot fire on the corner of Brundage Lane and Mount Vernon Avenue in East Bakersfield. 17 News photographer Mickey Van Horn and Tabitha Mills were on their way to another story when they spotted the smoke and called 911. Fire crews got those flames out shortly after 6 o'clock and no one was hurt.
And it is National Selfie Day. We want to share some of your selfies with us. So thanks, of course, to everyone who sent us some selfies.
Yeah, and got to take a selfie with us this morning. What a goofy Friday.
If you haven't already, of course, if you don't already know,
you.
it is National Selfie Day.
Yes.
And you can send us your selfies.
She got creative.
She got creative with her selfie, yeah.
Looks like we're at Star Wars.
Yeah, so thanks for sending us your selfies. It was fun.
Let's see them.
Yeah.
And it's the first day of summer, too.
Yeah.
First day of summer, but cooler for everybody.
Love that. We'll take it.
We appreciate it. What a great Friday. Get out and enjoy it, as we said, and have a great weekend. Thanks for starting your day with Sunrise. More news and weather coming up in 30 minutes.
Make it a great first day of summer, everyone.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.